You know that feeling, right? You're at work, you look at a process, and you just think to yourself, this makes absolutely no sense. Well, that exact feeling of pure frustration is where this whole story kicks off. We're going to dive into how one team took that feeling and, instead of just complaining, used it to build an incredible engine for innovation, completely from scratch. So, where did this all begin? Well, the spark wasn't some big, grand vision handed down from the top. Nope. It was this nagging, persistent feeling from the people actually doing the work, the feeling that the systems they had to use were just fundamentally broken. We've all been there. You run into a process or a rule that's so illogical, it's almost comical. For most of us, we just shake our heads and move on. But for this team, that feeling wasn't just a moment of frustration, it became their mission. And this exact phrase, this very feeling, became their rallying cry. It was the launchpad, the spark that ignited a total reinvention of how they approached not just one little problem, but absolutely everything they did. Okay, so you're frustrated. What's next? Well, they channeled all that energy into a huge question. Who out there is the absolute best at solving really complex, human-centered problems? That search for a better way led them straight to the pioneers of modern innovation. The blueprint they discovered was design thinking. You've probably heard of it. It's the framework perfected at legendary places like Stanford's D School and IDEO. And look, this isn't just another corporate buzzword. It's actually pretty simple. It's all about starting with real empathy for the people you're solving for, brainstorming tons of wild ideas, and then, and this is key, building and testing cheap prototypes before you spend a dime on the final thing. It was the system they needed to build the common sense that was missing. But here's the thing, right? A blueprint is just a plan on paper. It's kind of useless unless you actually build the house. So to bring design thinking to life, they knew they had to build an entire culture around it, a whole ecosystem designed to make this new way of working stick. So how'd they do it? They built their whole culture on this bedrock they called the 3 Ps. First up is purpose, having a crystal clear why. Then comes process, that's their design thinking framework in action, every single day. And finally, and most importantly, people. Because without the right team, the first 2 Ps are just, theory. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. They got super specific about what the right people actually meant. This wasn't some vague HR talk. It was a formula. First, you need the right attitude. We're talking deep curiosity and a real sense of ownership. Then you layer on the skills, things like logical thinking and business smarts, and you ground it all in deep, specialized knowledge. For them, the magic happens right where those 3 things overlap. Okay, so you've got your foundation, the 3 Ps. On top of that, they built these 5 huge pillars to support everything and drive real growth. And check out the flow here. It starts inside with intense practical learning and personal career development. Then it pushes outward, connecting all that talent to the wider world through social responsibility and vital industry partnerships. It's a whole life cycle for growth. And that first pillar, learning, it is absolutely non-negotiable. And we're not talking about some boring theoretical stuff you forget a week later. No way. This is hands-on mastery of the exact tools and certifications that companies are desperate for right now. Think Databricks and AWS. The whole point is to have zero gap between what you learn and the value you can provide on day one. All right, you've got this amazing, complex system humming along, but how do you actually manage it all? You need the right tools, right? Well, they used a proven stack. For the big, ambitious vision, they used OKRs. For the nitty-gritty day-to-day progress, they used SMART goals. And to make sure everyone stayed motivated and engaged, they wove gamification through the entire experience. So picture this. They've built this incredible, human-powered engine, and it's working beautifully. But they didn't stop there. They looked at it and asked, how can we make this go even faster? The answer? Pour some jet fuel on the fire by bringing in artificial intelligence. Not to replace people, but to make them even better. So what does supercharging with AI even look like? Well, get this. Imagine an AI creating a totally personalized career roadmap just for you. Or an AI that can generate custom practice tests and study notes whenever you need them. They're even using it to pull in real-world, cutting-edge problems from top incubators like Y Combinator. It's wild. Okay, let's just take a step back for a second. We've got the culture, the process, the people, and now this AI supercharger. That is a ton of work. It makes you ask, What is all this for? What's the end game? Well, all of this incredible effort is aimed at one single, totally audacious goal. And the answer is so much bigger than just training people or making a department run better. It's about creating a new generation of founders. It's about turning this entire system into an assembly line for entrepreneurship, with a very, very specific number in mind. It all comes down to one single number, a huge one, 1,000. That's right, 1,000. Their mission is to use this entire system to launch 1,000 new AI startups in just 10 years. I mean, think about that. This isn't just an education program anymore. It's a full-blown startup factory. And that brings us right back to the beginning. When you put it all together, you can see the complete transformation. It's night and day. They went from chaos and frustration to a purpose-driven system. They swapped random ideas for an AI-amplified growth mindset. This wasn't about making small tweaks, it was a total reinvention. What a journey, right? This story is such a powerful blueprint. It shows that when you systematically replace that feeling of frustration with a real framework and then you supercharge it with the right technology, well, absolutely incredible things can happen. So it leaves us all with a pretty big question to think about. What audacious goal in your world is just one good system away from becoming reality?